Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers for January 26 through February 6 divulge Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, is increasingly desperate and Claire Grace Newman, Hayley Erin, panics over something. Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor fights dirty. On Monday, January 26, Victor and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, are meeting up at the office. Victor is determined he won't stop fighting, but they are very worried about Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, losing Chancellor. Victor tells Victoria he is going to hit back and says he called Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, to tell her what Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, has done. But Jill's heart is worse, so he didn't get to speak to her. Victor talked to Snapper, who gave him the update on Jill's heart condition. Victoria wants to know what the next move is, but Victor won't tell her. Victor is going to tell Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, his plan when he shows up to plot with his dad. This annoys Victoria and she leaves. Victor tells Adam that he needs to find Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, Charlie, and Matty because Victor wants Kane to think that they've been kidnapped. He wants them to think they're in danger so that Kane will have no choice but to come to the table and make a deal with Victor. Nikki is going to hear from Victoria that Victor is plotting with Adam, even though she's the one who is running Numa and doing point on damage control. Nikki calms her down and says she suspects that Victor doesn't want Victoria and Nikki getting their hands dirty. They conclude that whatever Victor and Adam are up to is probably dangerous and possibly illegal. Harrison plays matchmaker for Kyle and Claire on Young and the Restless. Claire shows up in an absolute panic after she gets an emergency text from Harrison Locke, Redding Munsell. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, is there at the mansion and he got the same text, but it turns out Harrison tricked them both. At first, he claims he needs Claire and Kyle's help with a school project, but it becomes clear right away that he's playing matchmaker. Harrison also complains to Kyle that this breakup with Claire is like when his mom, Summer Newman, Alison Lanny, split up with Kyle. There's just a lot going on. In the end, Claire and Kyle both promise to spend more time with Harrison. Claire gets a text to meet Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, but then she lies about where she's going because she knows that Kyle will be snarky about it. He tells Claire he doesn't mind Victor getting what he deserves, but he feels bad for the rest of the Newmans. They're both glad that Nikki and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, are still friends despite all of this trouble. When Claire leaves, Harrison asks Kyle if he misses Claire as much as he does, and Kyle says yes, he misses Claire. Y&R spoilers. Noah and Sienna plan a future in Los Angeles. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, are back from a doctor visit. Nick got more painkillers and didn't have to go back into the hospital, which is good. Sharon and Nick start talking about how if Victor loses Newman Enterprises it's going to crush his dad. Sharon thinks this is all going to blow up in Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, face. Nick says sorry to Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, and Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, about lashing out before when they show up. They just came from seeing Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules LeBlanc. It turns out Noah convinced Victor to give Sienna all of Matt Clark's, Roger Howarth, assets that he took from him with the AI, except for the shadow room, which Victor gave to Noah. Sienna is free of Matt Clark. Michael also told Sienna that he can get her marriage to Matt annulled for fraud because he lied about who he was. Noah is planning to run the shadow room remotely from Genoa City. Sienna also tells them that Matt was handed over to the police and is facing life in prison. Mind you, nobody's actually seen that. Noah says he hopes Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, is home soon so she can meet Sienna. But then she tells Noah she's not planning to stay around Genoa City for long. Sienna tells Noah she's going to go back home to Los Angeles. He tries to talk Sienna into staying, and then Noah says he'll just go to Los Angeles with her and he and Sienna can run the shadow room together. Young and the Restless spoilers. Mariah Copeland's mental health spiral and biological ties. On Tuesday, January 27th, we've got Victor hurling threats at Phyllis and Kane, and he puts them on notice. We've also got Mariah going even darker. A hallucinated Ian Ward, Ray Wise, has convinced her to do a bad thing with Dominic Chancellor, Ethan Ray Clark. Just real quick, because I've seen comments here and on Soap social media with people kind of confused by Abby Newman's, Melissa Ordway, whole dialogue about Dominic not growing in her stomach but still having things in common. That is based on the history where Chancellor, Connor Floyd, and Abby were married. He was infertile and she couldn't carry a baby. It was Abby's egg and Devon Hamilton, Brighton James, was the sperm donor. Mariah was their gestational surrogate, so she has no biological tie to Dominic. Dominic is biologically Abby's and Devon's child. Her dialogue saying that she still has things in common makes sense because the kid is 50% her and 50% Devon. Also this week, Billy Abbott's Jason Thompson, mad at Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, because she called Jill to tell her that Billy may leave Abbott.com. He's so upset and says he should have been the one to talk to his mom. Sally says that she talked to Snapper, not Jill, because his mom is too sick to talk. Billy's mom has taken a turn for the worse, and is quite upset to hear this. Sally has Billy backed into a corner, and she's not going to let up about Chancellor. On Wednesday, January 28th, Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, gets a tempting offer, maybe from Sally. Also this week, Adam tells Chelsea Lawson-Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, about Victor's wanting to use Lily and the twins as leverage. Chelsea wants to know if Victor's going to kidnap them or if they're going to get hurt. Adam is going to have to say that Victor expects him to do the dirty work, and Chelsea is not going to like this. Dominic disappears during the Young and the Restless February sweeps. Dominic disappears, and Devon and Abby are frantic. They're running around the house, the staff hasn't seen him, and he's not on the grounds. Abby is panicking because it's getting dark. Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, comforts Victoria on Wednesday. On Thursday, January 29th, February sweeps kick off with Adam rethinking something. I don't think he wants to do what Victor wants him to do with Lily. Chelsea spills to Nikki and may tell her about Victor's plan. Claire and Kyle need some closure and talk about unfinished business between them. On Friday, January 30th, Mariah is on the move, and it may be with Dominic. Phyllis is facing Nick and Sharon's wrath. They blame her for the Newmans' downfall. I'm sure Phyllis is going to lie, deny, and defend her actions. Abby and Devon get stunning news. The high price of revenge for Phyllis and Kane on Young and the Restless. The week of February 2nd through the 6th is the first full week of February sweeps. I don't think Matt Clark done yet. I doubt that his reign of terror ended so easily and off-screen. Phyllis and Kane are on the brink of having everything they want, but what it will cost them is going to be a very high price tag. Billy can't stop. He wants Chancellor and he wants to be a part of destroying Victor. However, he is also about to lose a lot.